Team Gauff, a substantial number up there these days. Chanda?
Her mom Candy there, far left. Her physio agent, coaches down below. It's been a team effort for Coco Gauff.
That's a nice start. So, as Chandler says, that can at times have some cracks in it. Has made a solid opening there. Let's take a look at the win predictor. Coco Gauff, as you probably would expect, around the 70% mark in terms of what we have in our analysis here and everything that goes into that. Let's bring Storm Sanders into the conversation because Storm's courtside for us. Storm, good evening to you. Conditions down there, first of all, a little bit of wind around, or has it died down somewhat?
Good evening, Nick and Chanda. It's a beautiful evening down here. There is a little bit of wind around. It kind of comes and goes in waves, as it does tend to do in Melbourne, but a really nice night, and the crowd's definitely filling in as well.
What's your feeling, Storm, coming into this one? Obviously, it was quite one-sided 2 weeks ago. Does Leylah have the tools to keep this a little more competitive?
She does, and she's such a fighter. You can see already she's in the zone. She loves playing on these big matches, on big courts in front of a lot of people, like George said, but big task ahead of her tonight.
That's been one of the added parts of the Gauff game, her mindset on the forehand side, going after that shot. And this is so important to hitting the forehand well. Swinging through, keeping the racket head speed going through the contact point.
Yeah, has that shot been under the spotlight at times over the last 12 months? And I wonder just how much that gets in a player's head and how easy it is to put that to one side, how you block that noise out, because you probably don't want to hear it, right? You feel it yourself, so you don't want to hear it anymore.
You know, you are aware of it, and you're aware that when players come up against you, they're going to be picking on that side. They're going to be testing that side, as we see Leylah Fernandez's team, her coach and father in the bottom right. You tend to expect it. Hopefully you don't dread it.
Mm-hmm.
I do think in some ways players playing the forehand side a lot is going to help that shot improve. And in some matches, it's helped Gauff's rhythm.
Yep.
The fact that she gets to hit a lot of them. So you can look at it positively or negatively. And I think Gauff, she tends to look at it positively and take on the challenge of it. That's why she's at this level.
Mm-hmm. few serving issues against Jodie Burrage, as Chanda touched on. Numbers were slightly down, first serve percentage, and the doubles were slightly up, but the control on that side has been better. Chanda talked about the grip changes that she's employed. It's been highlighted. Hopefully for her, something that's going to bed in over the course of the next few months.
Fernandez early is trying to move the ball, create a bit of open space. She's got to be a little bit careful when she pulls the trigger that she's not hitting herself out of position. How well Gauff can cover the court.
That is a second serve that at times in her career has not looked overly secure, Chanda.
Yeah, sometimes she can open up a little too quickly on her serve. She already stands slightly more open than you might see in some players. And so when you lose kind of that coil, then where do you go? It becomes all arm.
Yep.
She's got to keep good first serve percentage, Fernandez, but she's still got to work to hit her targets, and she can slide it around the box. It's a tricky serve sometimes to read. So if she can get that shot going and hold her own in the serve department, that gives her the best chance. But right now, it's Gauff with break opportunities. A couple of missed backhands from Gauff. Don't usually see that back to back.
Nice early ball. Advantage of a bit of space.
Yeah, terrific point construction, and that's one of the skills that Fernandez has, that ability to create the angle and open up a little more court for her down the line shots.
certainly attacking that side, isn't she? And we'll see Gauff hit the forehand a little more often.
You know, one of the advantages to picking on that side is, as well as Gauff has been hitting the forehand, a lot of times the opponent can feel like she can't hurt them with that side. So you can comfortably stay neutral until you get something a bit more hittable.
Very nice job. Extricate herself out of some real trouble in that game. From love 40, that's going to be an early boost for the Canadian southpaw. What do you got for us, Chanda?
Leylah Fernandez can very comfortably take the ball inside the court, especially on returns. The ball's in yellow, first serve, return, hit points. She is inside the baseline, about half a meter. It's about a foot and a half for, you know, us Americans here. But on second serve, she's stepping well in, about 2 meters inside the baseline, about 6.5 feet in. That is taking a lot of ground away and cutting down on the time that the server has to react. So when she can get those shots going, that is one of the benefits of the Fernandez game.
Time.
Another full house on MCA. Gauff serving 1-2. Can't get hold of the backhand.
15 love.
Storm, I think I'm right in saying you play Coco in doubles but not singles. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. I've been on the other side in the doubles court, and it can be tough to return the serves that she can produce.
I was going to ask you, give us a sense of what the challenges are. Obviously, I know it was a doubles court only, but what's the ball like that Coco produces at you? Or what are the difficulties of playing her, I guess, outside of the movement?
That was some impressive hitting, but yeah, definitely off the backhand, there's a lot of weight and heaviness behind the ball, so you really feel it come onto you. And then at the forehand, she doesn't hit it as hard, but she gets a lot of spin, and even tonight we can see the height over the net, and the shape of the ball that she's getting off her forehand side.
She missed that forehand, but I still think that's a good play. It's a good mindset to get into, to want forehands that way where you can disguise and go either direction. Can't quite open up the court the same way on the backhand side.
That's the one danger of being as high up the court off the return, isn't it? Because you do have, at times, you leave yourself a little open to being cramped up.
taking the ball that early inside the court, it requires tremendous timing. So if Fernandez just a little bit off, or the spin comes and throws her off slightly, you know, those balls can pop up. She won't get behind it as solidly. But overall, her timing is so good that she can implement that style.
Has been at a career high 13 in the world as the Canadian. A little while ago now.
Advantage, Gauff. Game point. 2 games on.
The ball was back pretty sharply, but not with the control that Fernandez was looking for. I had a look at her record against top 10, Fernandez. At the US Open, she was 3-0 that year, when she made the final. Since then, against top 10, she's 3-17, which probably speaks, it's fairly clear evidence as to why it hasn't quite necessarily been able to keep that push up the rankings, because those top 10 players have proved to be a little too good for her.
That ball maybe stayed a lot lower than Gauff was expecting.
There's that width, Chanda, that you referred to.
40-11.
You look at Fernandez's shots, and you don't necessarily look at her as having a huge body blow, but it's the sum total of her positioning and how early she takes the ball, the angles she can create. Adds a lot of weight to her game.
Gauff was actually talking a couple of days ago about she actually trained with Robin Montgomery quite a bit in the pre-season, did a week with her because she's a lefty, so knew she was playing Fernandez, first match of the year or second match of the year in United Cup, so got a lefty out there, so that was of assistance to her. Definitely a sign for this start, and I think it's fair to say, because it looks at the moment
Fernandez leads by
to be a good match here for the American. 3-2 Fernandez leads. A couple of tough opening rounds, as Dad was just telling us. Difficult draws. Yulia Starova, who I am led to believe, I have to say I haven't seen her play, but speaking to a lot of people, she is very highly thought of, the Ukrainian. I don't know if you've seen her, Chanda.
I haven't seen much of her, no. Been hearing a bit about her.
Yeah, well, hear that she's a hot prospect going forwards, and I was able to win that one in 2 hours and 11 minutes, and then beating Christina Buska in 2 hours and 40. So she has had a couple of battles, Fernandez, so far.
Time.
Early stages, Gauff serving 2-3.
Gauff is going up and out after the serve much more confidently here. Early stages yet, but it's a good sign. Money for Gauff. Ball to the backhand with plenty of open space. Smart little slice shot there in the middle of the point that tailed away from Fernandez. Put her in no man's land. She had to move forward.
Game Gauff. 3 games over.
9 out of 10 points, one behind the first serve.
Whole team there with Gauff. Her father is here as well, though he sits in a different area. That has become a common thing, and it seems to work.
Yeah. Teammate look after her behind the scenes. We just saw Tony Godsick in the corner there. You'll remember Tony was Roger Federer's long-term agent.
Really see from Leylah on this side of the net, she's really doing a great job to hold the baseline, stay up, and really go through her legs. You know, Coco can hit some really good balls with good depth, but Leylah's doing a great job to just stay in the legs and looks really confident tonight.
Yeah, a lot of balls going into that forehand wing, aren't they? Staying just pretty much exclusively almost on that side off the ground. Trying to work it over. Get the feet up to that one. Wasn't helped by the let cord, obviously.
15 on.
Really right,
15-13.
really, didn't she? Until the last ball, just seemed to kind of over-rotate a little, didn't she?
Yeah, tried to pull it a little wider and yanked at it. Just lost the follow through. Ball came off of her strings a little too quickly.
Takes some doing. Almost half volleyed that ball.
30-all.
It's a special shot that Fernandez can hit. Not a lot of players can create this kind of angle from pretty close to the middle of the court. Nothing Gauff could do but watch it. Difference for Fernandez right now and why her ranking is off of her high is that she's making a few more of those kinds of misses against the better players. The US Open, she was hardly missing. It was what was so phenomenal about her run. Under pressure, facing another break point.
Worth remembering who she beat there at the US Open. Kanepi, Osaka 4 in the third, Kerber 2 in the third, Svitolina 6 in the third, Sabalenka 4 in the third. How's that for a quartet of wins? All on 2.5 hours as well, Chanda.
Incredible, the run of players that she had to get past. Eventually losing to Emma Raducanu in that final.
There weren't many storylines like that, were they, over the past decade in terms of an individual major? Incredible.
Advantage, Fernandez.
Gauff proving durable on that occasion.
The key on the forehand for Gauff in some of these rallies is to not let it elicit the miss. And she is getting a lot of spin, height over the net, and able to withstand the barrage from Fernandez.
On 5 of the 7 rallies over 9 has Gauff, early stages. Quite a few of them. She invited her on, didn't she? Interestingly, and was really under undue pressure there.
Yeah, sometimes I think players go in to matches against Gauff expecting her to miss a lot of forehands. If they play that side, they're going to immediately get the error, and that doesn't happen.
Yep. Frustration for the Canadian. It's not able to hold on. Gauff is able to make the first move here in the opening set. Storm, what are you seeing down there that we're not saying so far?
Yeah, I think you're spot on, Chanda, with just then in that game, Leylah was almost expecting Coco to miss on that forehand, and when she didn't in those 2 long rallies, she got very frustrated and looking over to her team almost like it's not working, you know, the game plan's not working. But Coco is a new player. She has been so dominant over the last few months and has been playing unbelievable tennis and just has renewed confidence in her game, especially on the serve and the forehand. And you're really seeing that tonight. Even though she's made a few unforced errors, she's actually regrouped and almost not getting frustrated early. She's kind of just backing herself in and just competing like a champion she is.
Time.
Dishing out the advice again in the corner to his daughter. Gauff serving with new balls here.
Did he
ask her to hit a bit more slice? Maybe on that evidence he did.
Yeah, I think you have to be careful going away from a game plan too early, though. Sometimes you think it's not working when in reality, that last game, Fernandez had a few more misses early that really put her behind. Gave Gauff that little extra boost, and she was able to get the break in the end. It's different from the strategy not working or the strategy not being the best strategy to give you the best chance to win.
Game. Gauff leads by 5 games.
If you look at the numbers right now, Leylah Fernandez with 12 unforced errors, just 3 winners to offset it. That's been her biggest problem. Her game, she's got to be a little more consistent, but that's tough because you're taking the ball early, you're hitting a little flatter. That creates a little more risk. And I think that's the balance she struggles with against the better players.
Made the 3rd round here this year. Fernandez for the very first time in her career, somewhat surprisingly. But as we said, in the last couple of seasons, she hasn't really made much of a dent in the majors. like this lady. Semi-finalist here last year, Gauff lost to Sabalenka in a match that could have gone either way, couldn't it?
That felt like the final,
Yep.
that semi.
Out. 15-all.
And it's another miss that Fernandez can't afford. She's going down the middle, and she's missing it long. Just not quite enough rotation. Maybe needs just a little more leg into that shot. She hits kind of flat, relatively speaking. But she's got to still give herself a little more margin on those kinds of plays. Just terrific hitting from Gauff.
15.
Remember her last match against Jody Burrage, Gauff went through a trial by fire with the pace and the depth coming from the Brit. This match has got to feel like she has so much more time. She's playing like it.
Yep. And there's the backhand that Storm was talking about, just how heavy that shot can be. Rush the Canadian there. Very clever finish. Before we even talk about the backhand up the line. Wow.
It's taking this kind of placement from Fernandez to try to get out front in these rallies. A little extra right arm to get that angle.
Was that shape on that forehand up the line that she hit on the previous point. Just kind of forced Fernandez back a little bit, didn't it? And she has locked down here, has Gauff in the last couple of games. It's been impressive. Looking good. Set point.
Use. Advantage, Fernandez.
Suddenly 3 errors in a row. And that gives Leylah Fernandez a bit of a lifeline here. And keeps her in the conversation in set number 1, 5-4. It's not a particularly scary serve, is it? Leylah Fernandez has. I mean that with the greatest of respect, but it's not going to put the fear of God into you.
No, it can be a tricky serve, the Fernandez serve, because she can slide it with the lefty spin, and that can be difficult for right-handers to handle. It can be tough to get a rhythm on her serve. but she doesn't actually get as much behind it as I think she was doing when she made that run to the final of the US Open. You know, she was really getting into her serves, getting a few more free points. She's not getting as much of that now.
Time.
We'll see if she can keep that shot going.
That's our class. We are to Melbourne CBD. So unique in that regard, isn't it? And all the majors, of course. Billie Jean King National Tennis Centre is a good half-an-hour drive, 45 minutes outside of Manhattan. How quick was she to get there and counter that? So sharply, and then to have the quality to produce something as well. Magnificent. Putting together a comprehensive game. Only lost a total of 4 points on serve in this set.
I don't know if you saw that, but Leylah actually stood back on that second serve return. She didn't step inside 2 meters inside the baseline like she has been. She actually waited for it and was able to get a better strike off that return.
Couldn't quite keep up to the wide serve. Knew it was coming, you felt, but offered nothing in the way of a response. Gauff was tested in the opening set, 44 minutes. There was a lot to admire in it, but number 3 seed, halfway towards the last 16.
That was a terrific first.
Actually had a look back at last season and percentage of holds of serve. Now obviously all numbers are different, doesn't always mean everything, but Leylah Fernandez was 69% of holds last year, and if you look at that compared to the top 10, some way off. There's only one player I think in the top 10 that was in and around that number. That was Barbora Krejcikova, who was at 68. Jasmine Paolini actually was in that category as well. She was at around 69, but Fernandez just on the 69% of holds mark.
What are the averages for the top 10?
I mean, Sabalenka 78, Swiatek 82, Gauff 73, Qinwen 77, Pegula 71, Rybakina 79, Navarro 70, And then actually the outlier, to be fair, is Kasatkina, of course, but we know she's got plenty of other tools that can defend the serve.
She's breaking more often.
Exactly.
She's on that side.
Exactly. Oh, that's so well constructed.
30-15.
Yeah, so I guess the obvious counter to that is, well, how often is she breaking? Because you'd have to be breaking a lot more, right? So she's at 44% of breaks, Fernandez, which is pretty high in terms of those around her at the top of the game. Yeah, that would probably put her in the top 10 in terms of how often she is able to break, just looking briefly at the numbers. Not far off it anyway.
I think part of Fernandez's struggle sometimes is her higher risk game will create a few more unforced errors when she's not feeling or playing her best. I think just to put a cap on that point, you know, a player like Kasatkina, who may have similar serve numbers and return numbers, she's not making as many errors.
Yes.
And you just don't get free points from her. So there's some strengths, particular strengths, that have put Kasatkina in that top 10.
Yeah, she's making you work harder to win the point.
First game.
That is a little deflating for Fernandez. His unforced error count, as Chanda said today, is now at 15, sorry.
And you look at Fernandez, I mean, she's a terrific player, obviously ranking, you know, has been playing consistently around 30, top 30, can push up close to 20 consistently. But she plays a higher risk brand of tennis when you're taking the ball on the rise, you're taking it early, and she's not necessarily hitting winners, and sometimes it's just too many unforced errors as a result, not enough winners to offset it. And that may be the challenge as Fernandez continues to improve, finding a better balance with that.
59.
That's such a tough return to make, isn't it? I mean, you look at the unreturned serve number. We're now at 43%, Chanda. That's a high number of serves that are not coming back into play here.
And, you know, Storm mentioned it. She stepped back. She made one of those returns. Gauff missed it. The very next return, she went back in.
Yeah.
Didn't continue to see if that could work.
It was half the serves that Gauff's hit tonight have not come back. And even though she made that one, she was a little fortunate, wasn't she?
Well, she's standing in, but she's not getting the reply or the response that makes worth standing in.
Absolutely.
she'd just as soon step back and make that return.
Yeah, and the problem is when you do step in, as you say, and you don't do enough with it, you're then having to go back anyway. So it's a bit counterintuitive.
Go.
This has been a terrific serving night for Gauff on the heels of feeling like she didn't serve very well in her last match. She has come out and made some adjustments. And there's some work for Leylah Fernandez to do if she wants to dig in to this second set.
That was a really good change of shape there from Coco on the forehand. She just went back a little bit. She was not in position and went high into Leylah's backhand. And as we said, we've seen all night, Leylah likes to step in, so she made that really difficult. If you want to take that on, you've got to really get that top hand through on the backhand, which she didn't quite do.
And it's a good point that Storm makes, because you think about these courts and they're a little more bouncy. And for someone who's trying to take the ball on the rise, who's trying to step in, it takes even more timing to get that shot consistently right. You're seeing some of the struggle, maybe why Fernandez has never done particularly as well here on these hard courts. This is her best result so far, getting to this third round here at the Australian Open. And she is frustrated, looking at a double break hole.
Yeah, Gauff's won 11 of 13 points so far in this set. Fernandez is in a position of peril. Golf in class now. Fernandez will go and have a word with her dad again, I think, here. And it's all getting rather desperate. It's a set of 3-love. What a star she is. Highest paid female athlete last year on the planet, according to Forbes. And I'm not going to argue with Forbes, Chanda. I don't know about you.
That would be pointless, especially when you look at the numbers.
Yeah. I mean, my eyes are watering looking at the numbers, actually. I just need to take my glasses off. It's a lot of money. $34 million, they say, that Coco earned. How they come to that number, well, not sure, but you know the prize money, that's obvious, but she is a star. US Open victory of a couple of years ago catapulted this lady into a completely different stratosphere.
One thing we know Fernandez will do is keep fighting and trying to project some positive energy with the fist pump after this rally, where she could be super aggressive after the return.
good strike. And just to finish that conversation, if you look at actually the highest paid female athlete, Swiatek was actually second worldwide. So the Cain was fourth, so 3 of the top 4 females, highest paid female athletes last season were from this sport. Unsurprisingly, Cain was up there, given the Chinese gold medalist, and again, goodness knows what that did for her financially.
And Fernandez trying to cheat over and cover the wide serve. Gauff with a terrific changeup. Just the first double fault of the match for Gauff. She was going after it, so don't necessarily mind those misses.
Gauff leads by 3 games to 1.
Often on the serve, you see the feet, don't you? You see the 1 foot behind the other, but she is literally directly almost behind, which, as you say, China, limits the amount of upper body rotation she can get on the serve. I mean, actually, if you look at it closely when she starts, obviously, as you say, she's behind. The back foot does actually come back a little bit, but it's not a lot of upper body turn, is there?
No, she just gets a bit of turn as she's in the motion.
Decent amount of turn into that shot.
The serve is such a tricky shot, and it's such a rhythm shot, and can be difficult for players to make changes in that area, especially when they have to take a few lumps before it gets comfortable again.
Probing, but again, Gauff's ability to defend was impressive.
And it's not just her ability to defend, but to hit such quality shots from compromised positions. It's absolutely insane, and it's very easy to forget that she's still only 20 years old.
Talked about it after her match, what she might do for her 21st birthday in less than 2 months.
Wow.
She said she might have a drink with her parents, maybe.
Okay. Very, very humble still, and very family orientated, as we know, Coco. Couple of younger brothers, of course. Been clean in this set, just 2 unforced from Gauff in 4, almost 5 games now. Threatening to go up a double break again.
Just coming up a little bit on the forehand instead of staying down and through it a little bit longer. That's a shot that Fernandez has to find a way to start making again. She wants to have any shot.
For it again. And just not able to sustain the quality for long enough, and Coco Gauff continues to make a play and continues to make life uncomfortable here.
Time.
Set and 4-1. The American looking good here. Not easy. Soften the hands beautifully here.
And she's feeling it now, Gauff, and it has helped that she's had such a good serving day, even getting broken in her last service game. has not stopped the momentum.
You were saying, Chanda? We'll get Storm up here. That'll happen to her in a minute. You see, she's new to this game.
If I start saying Storm is having a good serving day, maybe.
It's not been happening, though, has it, of late?
Are you noticing anything on those serves, Storm?
She always just looks like she's rushing it a little bit, and the ball toss is getting a little bit out in front and low. And it can be a bit breezy down here. It kind of picks up from time to time. So I wonder if that's just being factored in a little bit.
Smart serve from Gauff to get the serve in, got a little more spin on it. She is frustrated, but something similar happened to her in her last match where she started struggling. The toss was a little too far out in front. It would get a little bit low, and she kept missing that serve. Everybody has tendencies when tension increases in a match. It's perfectly normal, and it's something she just has to work her way through. Sometimes those issues with technique come into play more in those crucial moments. The holds. Good recovery from Gauff. I think that's why it's important that she get comfortable with that kick serve, because in those moments, that's a serve she can go to. It's what helped her against Burrage in that last round. And even there, to get up and out and feel like you can get a bit more spin, a bit more safety, and then you work to get back to the big serves.
Gauff does come through. In terms of the draw here, she'll take on Belinda Bencic, who was the beneficiary of Naomi Osaka's retirement after a set today. Bencic moving through to the last 16, her first major, of course, since becoming a mum. As you said, Chandra, at the top, not quite in the same league defensively either, is she? She's a good athlete, but again, out of those corners there, Gauff would not have missed that ball, you sense. Obviously, we're setting the bar pretty high. Coco's the best athlete probably in the female game, but Fernandez is a little way off that still.
Yeah, I think that's partly why Fernandez plays the way she does. It allows her to play a little quicker, and it makes her a little quicker. But when she gets too far behind the baseline, she doesn't quite have the same defensive capabilities as somebody like Gauff.
Shown us some good skills though. That was a great half volley. Running the singles here is, you sense, on the verge of coming to an end. Gauff will serve for it. Just in terms of the head-to-head with Bencic, if that is locked in 10 minutes or so. Played a couple of times before. Bencic winning in Adelaide in 2021, a long time ago now. Gauff able to get a bit of revenge 2 summers ago in Washington. She was able to win 1 and 2, so we'll see. Still pretty early in Belinda's comeback, isn't it? But she's maybe surpassed expectations.
It's been maybe 9 months now. Her comeback, and it's continued to impress.
Serving then to reach the second week. That was off the two-hander.
It's a special backhand that Gauff can hit, where she can generate that kind of power. Just creating all the pace.
Took a while to wrestle free here, but when she has done, she has been a class apart. Coco Gauff completes a victory for the second time in the space of a month over Leylah Fernandez. Looking very good indeed. There's the number 3 seed here. She's through to the last 16 in impressive fashion. 4 and